What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and today we're back with another Pokemon challenge video. Today we're on Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and today's challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon Alpha Sapphire Hardcore Nuzlocke using only shiny cave encounters? Actually pretty unique challenge. Came up with the idea myself, so big brain time. So the premise of the video is going to be a very nice and dangerous Hardcore Nuzlocke on Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. I can't catch any Pokemon in any routes besides caves, so it has to be a cavern cave, it has to be inside of a cave. And I can only catch the very first shiny Pokemon I find in that cave. So it's going to be quite difficult. We also have extra rules on screen right now. You can read through them real quick. It's quick to follow through. And as well, the best rule of each of my challenge videos, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thank you so much for leaving a comment in the previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, just drop in the comments and hopefully I pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me that you can support my channel on everything, on the shorts that I make for fun. I think I had a McDonald's review one as well on there, so that's kind of fun to make. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed that, and let's get into the challenge video itself. To begin off, there are no caves in obviously the starting town of the game. So we have to make our way into Rustboro City and pass that into, I think, Rustboro Tunnel. It actually takes a little bit to get there because it's not easy to get there apparently. But once we actually get into the cave, there's only one Pokemon that we're concerned about catching in here. It's 100% encounter rate in here, which is going to be a Whismur, which I don't have a problem with, but Whismur is going to be a normal type Pokemon and the first gym is going to be a rock type, so it's going to be quite difficult. But we'll get there when we get there, as we find ourselves a shiny Whismur, which wasn't too hard because it's only 100% encounter. Anyways, we find ourselves a shiny Whismur, which is nice. Added to our team, it's kind of cute. Lucky for us though, this Whismur actually has a move called Echo Voice, which boosts its power every time you use it, just like a Fairy Cutter. But it's a special move, so it's actually very useful against the first gym of the game, which is going to be against Roxanne, because most of our Pokemon are pretty weak to special moves, so that could be useful. We're going to go out into the woods and train up EVs for my Whismur. We can't get special attack EVs. I couldn't think of anyone that gave us special attack EVs, so I decided to prioritize HP EVs and also defense EVs. So anytime we see a Wurmple, a Cascoon, anything like that, give us great EVs for defense and also our HP. From there though, we're going to face off against the very first gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Roxanne, which is going to be the rock type gym leader, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Whismur. We're going to Echo Voice immediately into the Geodude, and unfortunately we're going to take a crit on the second move of the battle. So we're down to 25 HP. We popped an Oran Berry though, lucky enough. And then we're able to knock down the Geodude, and our next Pokemon, her ace Pokemon, will be a Nosepass, which I am able to get an Echo Voice off against her. But at this point, I've gotten 3 off. This is going to be the 4th one, and this should be powerful enough to 2-shot the Nosepass, and it is. And we're able to beat down the Nosepass on our very first attempt. We didn't have to restart and find a new shiny Whismur. We actually did that on our first attempt, which I'm completely surprised by. But from there, we actually have access into Granite Cave now, and Granite Cave, in the name, will be our second cave encounter route. Now here I was actually pretty okay with every single encounter. Makuhita, Zubat, Abra. Did not want a Geodude. That would be the worst case scenario, and we might actually lose to the second gym of the game because of that. But lucky enough, we do find ourselves a shiny Zubat. That's actually what I wanted, but I was actually down for everything, Hariyama, everything except obviously Geodude. But lucky enough, Geodude is a rare encounter in this cave, and we find ourselves a shiny Zubat first. From there, we're going to face off against the second gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Brawly. And most of the time, you guys do know how Brawly ends up. Brawly is just going to take 2 shots, and that's it. We're going to knock out the Machop and Makuhita in 1 shot each, and down goes Brawly. We get the second gym match of the game, pretty free. We also evolve our Whismur into a Loudred. This is actually important because the next gym in the game is going to be the Electric type gym leader, and we don't have too much counters to him. Luckily enough, Loudred is able to learn Bodos, which is going to be super effective, and it's a ground move. So we're going to face up against Watson with our Loudred with Bodos as a move. We're going to start the battle off against Watson using my Loudred just to Bodos into him. We also added the Cherry Berry on top of my Loudred to avoid any paralysis, and completely hard counters the Magnemite and just knocks him out for free. He then sends out his Voltorb, which is going to Volt Switch into his Magneton, and then I just Bodos twice to knock him out. His ace Pokemon is down, and I'm able to just weaken down the Voltorb and eventually knock him out. This actually leads my Zubat into evolving into a Golbat real quick, so it's pretty nice. From there, we're going to head into the next cave of the game, we're gonna head into the fiery path, which is obviously a cave, even though there's no cave in the name. We're able to find a lot of Pokemon in here. Our main goal is to find ourselves a Machop, but Machop is a rare encounter. I wanted to use a Machop pretty badly. I don't think I've been able to use a Machoke at all. I think I did a fighting type only run, but Machoke is one of my favorite looking Pokemon. Unfortunately, we're gonna find ourselves a very common shiny Pokemon, which is gonna be Grimer. It could have been worse, could have been Numel, or it could have been Torkoal. Actually, I would have preferred Torkoal, but anyways, we find ourselves a Grimer. We're going to just add it to our team. Pretty nice though. From there, we're going to head all the way into Meteor Falls next, which is going to be our next cave, and it's gigantic. Amazing looking cave. I didn't realize how amazing it looked. Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering why I just could have came back here at a later date and possibly got Bagon. Bagon is a super rare encounter that I don't think I'm going to get. It's going to be impossible trying to get a shiny Bagon. So I decided not to try it out at all. And we actually found ourselves a shiny Lunatone. We're also playing with no dupes as a rule, so that's why I'm not getting another shiny Zubat, because I did find multiple shiny Zubats before finding a Pokemon that's not the same thing. So luckily enough, we find ourselves a Lunatone added to our team, which is going to be nice, and face off against Flannery next. Flannery is going to be the fire type gym leader of the game. I'm going to start the battle off against her using my Lunatone. Just immediately Hypnosis and then Rock Slide to just two-shot down the Slugma, which is super easy. Her next Pokemon will be a Numel. I go for a Rock Slide. It does not knock her out, unfortunately, but she can't really do too much to me, so I'm just going to go for a Rock Tomb, and then eventually we'll knock him out with a Rock Tomb, and our final Pokemon will be a Torkoal, which I go for a Rock Tomb. Does about like a fourth. From there, I'm going to go for a Hypnosis, put it to sleep, and that should be the battle. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I go for a Rock Slide once again. It's getting two-shotted from this range, and down goes the Torkoal, and we get our 4th gym badge of the game, which is pretty nice. Not to take you guys out of the immersion, if you do see my mouse moving, is me changing the song or the video I'm watching as I'm playing the game, which is kind of funny if you can see the mouse moving. Anyways, from there, we're going to evolve our Golbat into a Crobat, which I completely forgot was a Happiness evolution. From there, we're going to face off against the 5th gym leader in the game. We're going to face off against Norman next. Norman is going to be the normal type gym leader, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Crobat. Unfortunately, Crobat gets yawn and the switch back between my Lunatone. I land a Hypnosis, but once it wakes up, it goes for a yawn, and then it encores me into Confuse, where it gets really annoying. But eventually, I am able to Poison Fang, poison down the Slacking, and eventually knock him out, which is pretty nice. His next Pokemon will be a Vigoroth, which gets two-shotted with a Wing Attack, and then his final Pokemon will be a Slacking, which I go out into my Lunatone to go out and use Hypnosis against him, land it, and just immediately two-shot him with a Psychic. I could have just done that from the start. I just realized that. But from there, we're going to beat Norman. Easily done it. And then we're just going to skip ahead all the way to the next gym. We're going to face off against Winona next. Winona is the 6th gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her flying team with my Lunatone. Lunatone's just actually pretty decent as a Pokemon. I learned Stone Edge really early on, so I'm just going to Stone Edge into the Swallow and knock him out pretty easily. Our next Pokemon will be her ace Pokemon, Altaria. I go for a Stone Edge, almost knocks her out in one shot. She goes for a Cotton Guard, which now I'm going for a crit. I need to go for a crit with my Stone Edge. I actually go for a Hypnosis. I'll take it back, but I should have gone for a crit. She then backs out for some reason. I catch her backing out to her Skarmory with a Psychic, which is insane. Big reads from me. From there, I'm going to go for a Hypnosis against the Skarmory. I go for a Psychic, and a first turn wakes and Steel Wings me, of course. And I live it, so I'm going to go for a Psychic once again to knock out the Skarmory. Her next Pokemon will be her Ace, which actually has Natural Cure. That's why she's not sleeping no more. I put her back to sleep anyways, and I go for a Stone Edge, catch the Pelipper, knock out the Pelipper, and their final Pokemon will be the Altaria. And at this point, I don't need to play around with. I go out to my Crobat, gets paralyzed, but I two-shot her, actually easily two-shot her with my Acrobatics from my Crobat and easily beat down Winona, get a 6th gym match in the game, and now we're going to head into a very interesting cave that I don't think a lot of people realize is an actual place in the game. This is Scorch Slab, which is a very hidden cave right next to Fortress City. I am able to encounter some new Pokemon in here because there's water here. Water breeds some water type Pokemon, and it is in the cave technically, so it counts as my encounter for this. So in the water, I'm able to get Magikarp, Barboach, and also Godine. I got myself a Godine. I could have got myself a Gyarados and just win. Like, that would be such an easy Pokemon to use. Also, I love red Gyarados. But from there, we're going to head into Mount Pyre, which I want to show this place because if I was playing this solo and I wasn't recording for YouTube, I would technically count this as a cave, but I don't think this is a cave. It's more like a dungeon. It's like a monument. It doesn't count. But what counts as a cave is going to be Stroll Cave, which we're going to find our next Pokemon to fill out our team. We're going to just go looking for any Pokemon we can find, which is going to be most likely Celio or Spio. We found ourselves a Celio, which is really nice, and we're going to just add to our team. Super simple from there. Next up, we're going to beat down Tate and Eliza. I mean, spoiler, we didn't even start the battle yet. We're going to beat them both down pretty easily. I go for Surf on my Wall Ring and also Waterfall on my Seeking. Easily knock out the Zoroark before it does anything, and then the Lunatone sets up a light screen, which at this point, I don't know what's wrong with the AI. We're going to easily demolish Tate and Eliza, and from there we're going to beat down also Archie, and why is Maxie on his knees? That's kind of weird. But Kyogre will spawn in, and now we got to face off against Kyogre next. We're going to start our battle off against Primal Kyogre, which is pretty scary. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Wall Ring, which is going to Body Slam into him, hoping for a Paralyze. If he does paralyze me with his own Body Slam, I do have Rest to avoid it and to regain my HP from it. Gets me down to a little over half HP and then bait me in with the Origin Pulse. I was like, I could survive this. I was not able to survive this. We get our first death of the game through a Kyogre Origin Pulse. I was like, oh my god, of course it would happen like this. But from there, I go out into my Crobat, which luckily enough is able to Acrobatics and just destroy the rest of the Kyogre. But it's just so annoying we lost our Pokemon right here. Right then and there, of course. We put a death on the death counter. Now we gotta face out against the next gym leader in the game. We're gonna face off against Wallace next. Wallace is going to be the water type gym leader, and we're gonna start the battle off against him using my Crobat. Crobat is going to Acrobatics and knock out the Loveless, which is pretty easy. He then sends out his Milotic, which is kind of annoying, so I decided to go out into my Muk to get frozen. I was like, whatever. I didn't need him anyways. I go out into my X-Spot, trying to get some Rock Smash defense drop so I could go out into my Seeking to flinch him down with Waterfall. Didn't work out too well. He did not get any defense drops. I go out to my Seeking. Seeking does no damage at all. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go out to my Crobat. Crobat can live and he hits anyway. So I go out to my Crobat, hit him with a decent move, which is nice. Unfortunately, I get frozen with his Ice Beam. So 2 freezes on 2 of my 5 Pokemon, which is very annoying. So I decided to go out into my Lunatone next, and luckily Lunatone is able to outspeed and Psychic for sure will knock out the Milotic. Super nice. His next Pokemon will be a Whiscash, which I just go for immediate Hypnosis and also a Psychic. He ends up waking up, of course, hitting me with a Waterfall, and then his next Pokemon will be a Celio, which I can't risk staying in. So I go out into my Seeking to Aqua Ring, and then he had an Encore, and it gets really annoying. My Seeking will eventually knock out the Celio though, which is nice. His final Pokemon will be a Seeking, which actually sets a Rain Dance for me. I hit him with a Waterfall, does not do a lot of damage, but he goes for an Aqua Ring, which I think is the biggest throw there, because I go for a Waterfall and it crits him in the rain and knocks him out. Possibly actually won me the game, because if he went for a Waterfall and knocked out my Seeking, I don't know how else I would have beat him down, because the rest of my team pretty much damaged. 2 of them were frozen anyway, so luckily enough, the luck was so bad on our side that it made up for it on the final move and where it matters. We didn't lose another Pokemon, and we can move out into Victory Road, where we're able to find ourselves our final member of our team, which is going to be a shiny Medicham, which I completely forgot that you could get from Victory Road in this game. So we're able to find ourselves a shiny Medicham. We're not going to use the Medicham Megastone because that thing's obviously super broken, so I decided to just keep it with a Medicham, clear through Victory Road, which is super simple. From there, we're able to face off against the Elite Four now, and our first Elite Four member that we're going to challenge is going to be Sydney. Sydney's going to be the Dark type Elite Four member of the game, and we're going to start the battle off against him using my Medicham. And you know what, I started messing around. I did not take this seriously at all, which spoiler alert, I should have taken more seriously. I'm not going to lie. I started the battle off high jump kicking the Mightyena, the Absol, and also the Shift Tree, just to prove that I'm not afraid. I will beat down Sydney with high jump kick, which, you know, thinking back to it, maybe I shouldn't have done it. Too cocky. Obviously, I knock out the Shift Tree. His next Pokemon will be a Sharpedo, which I didn't want to risk. I go out into my Muk to eventually knock out the Sharpedo. And then his final Pokemon will be a Cactus, which I am easily able to just knock out in one shot. And unfortunately, most of my moves on my Seeking is going to be HM moves, so I can't even teach him Mega Horn. But I am able to move out and face off against Phoebe next. Phoebe is giving me the Ghost type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Seeking to Waterfall into the Dusclops. And then just, bro, she went for a Curse. And now my Seeking is basically useless for the rest of the match. But I am able to get some Waterfall damage against the Dusclops before I leave. I decided to go out into my X-Cloud and do absolutely nothing. So I decided to return, go out into my Crobat, mistimed it. I should have went for a bite first and then acrobatics, but I am able to get a poison fang off against him, go for a fly up, and again I missed timing it again, because now it goes for a full restore once again, and I am unable to do any damage. So I go out into my Muck. Muck's able to get a poison once again, and this time it will go down, knocked out. Her next Pokemon will be a Bayonet, which does a lot of damage to my Muck, so I decided to go out into my Lunatone. Lunatone is able to just basically bait out all the moves against Bayonet, and the biggest brain head move, I will use Hypnosis 3 times, even though it has Insomnia as an ability. Luckily enough, it didn't go for a Shadow Punch or anything, so I am able to Psychic just knock him out super simply. Her next Pokemon will be a Sableye, which I go out into my Exploud. I only have Bodos on my Exploud. I don't have anything else on it because I didn't take this seriously. I thought it was an easy win. It was not. So Exploud will go down because I need to sack something to get something out for free. I go out into my Seeking to Waterfall and knock out the Sableye, and then from there I am able to Waterfall and 2-shot the Bayonet. Luckily it flinches him, and I'm able to knock out the Bayonet. Sacrifice my Exploud though, but it's okay. Just second death of the game, that's fine. Next up, we're going to face off against Glacier. Next, Glacier is going to be the Ice type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Lunatone, which is going to be the Rock type Pokemon on my team, to Stone Edge multiple times against the Glalie. Eventually I am able to knock out the Glalie with a rock move, and then her next Pokemon will be a Walrein. I decided to risk it a little bit, take a risky route, go for a Hypnosis off against the Walrein, which is nice, and at this point, if it stays asleep, I am able to 2-shot it, and it's perfect, knock out the Walrein. Her next Pokemon will be a Frostlass. I'm pretty scared of the Ominous Wind coming out, so I decided to go out into my Muck. Muck, unfortunately, will miss a few moves, and does not do a lot of damage against her using Sludge Wave. So Muck will be useless for this fight as it goes down to red HP. I go out to my Crobat against the Frostlass. Hail actually ended, so Acrobatics is 100% accuracy against the Frostlass to knock him out. And then her next Frostlass comes on next. I decided to go out to my Seeking to eventually Waterfall twice into her to knock her out. I get buffeted by the Hail, I get confused, but eventually I am able to knock out the Frostlass. Her final Pokemon will be a Glalie, which almost actually knocks out my Seeking, which was bad. Go out to my Lunatone, and Lunatone's unable to actually beat down the Glalie. As you can see, it gets stalled out pretty easily, so I decided to go out into, normal plays. I go out to my Medicham to Power Punch twice into the Glalie to knock him out, which is super nice. And that will do it for Glacier as we head out and face off against Drake next. Drake's the 4th and final Elite Four member before we face off against the champion. We're going to start the battle off against Drake, obviously going with my Lunatone. She just beat down the Otara with my Rock moves, 2-shot him using Rock Slide, which is super nice. Her next Pokemon will be a Flygon, which I can't really deal with, but I go for a Hypnosis to put him to sleep for sure. Then I decide to back out and go out to my Medicham to Power Punch into him. Unfortunately, I got caught with Earthquake, and at this point I can't even use my Medicham. I go out into my Star MVP Crobat to knock out the Flygon, which is nice. Her next Pokemon will be a Kingdra. I go for an Acrobatics, which, normal play. Should have gone for a Poison Fang to get a Poison, but it goes for a Yawn. I decide to switch out into my Muck. I get Yawn. I switch out to my Crobat. I got Yawn. I assume I have a free switch into my Medicham to get Yawn, and then I can knock out the Kingdra and just fall asleep. It wasn't the case. The one time I actually switch out to my Medicham, it gets caught with a Surf from him, and Medicham goes down, and that is not good. So I decided to go out to my Crobat to hit him with Acrobatics. Doesn't end up knocking him out, and also puts me to sleep. So I decided to go out to my Muck to knock out the Kingdra. His next Pokemon will be a Salamence, which does a lot of damage to my Muck, so I gotta switch out into my Lunatone. Luckily enough, Lunatone will survive a crunch from Salamence, just barely though. Just barely. Rock Slide will knock out the Salamence, which is super nice. And then his final Pokemon will be a Flygon. I go out to my Seeking against the Flygon, absorb the Dragon Pulse basically for dinner, and Waterfall will knock him out pretty easily. Unfortunately, we do lose a big hitter in Medicham, which could have swept the final boss of the game, but we can go into it for Pokemon. We're going to face off against the champion of the game. We're going to face off against Steven Stone next. Steven Stone is going to start the battle off against us using a Skarmory. I don't have any moves here, so I went out to my Rock type Pokemon against the Steel type and Hypnosis it down. I go for a Calm Mind. I actually cleared Hypnosis on accident, but I am able to Calm Mind twice, and then Psychic twice to knock down the Skarmory. He then goes out to his Aggron, which if I knew he's getting missing Iron Tail, I would just went for a Psychic, but I didn't know that. Psychic to break his 30, and I'm able to Surf and knock out the Aggron. His next Pokemon will be a Cradily, which is going to be tough to handle. I go out into my Muck first, trying to get a Poison off against him, and eventually I do get a Poison off against him, which is super nice. Unfortunately, I am in confusion, so I can't actually capitalize on that 2 different times, so just gets full HP from the full restores. Luckily enough, I do a lot of damage with Sludge Wave, and eventually I am able to switch out into my Crobat to, well, now it's at full HP. Never mind, I take it back. Take everything back. Fly will actually 3-shot him, and luckily enough, I don't hit myself with my Crobat. I don't know if that's a great thing or not, but eventually I am able to knock out the Cradily using my Crobat. And then his next Pokemon will be a Claydol, which I am able to go out to my Seaking. It has Dive and Waterfall to stall some turns. I go for an Aqua Ring first to get my HP back up for any sorts of damage going on. Eventually I am able to knock out the Claydol and also drop down the Reflect, which is super nice for us. His next Pokemon is going to be an Armaldo, which I am able to 2-shot. Flinch him with a Waterfall, 2-shot him, finish him off, super nice. And then his final Pokemon will be a Metagross, which is actually the worst way I could have handled this. I decided to go out to my Crobat to take a Giga Impact, which isn't the best idea. I am able to bite into the Metagross to do some very minuscule chip damage. It adds up though. Eventually he's gonna Bullet Punch and knock me out. I go out into my Seaking next. Here, I should have sacked my Muck, and then I'm able to go for a Waterfall. It decides to go for a Giga Impact against me, and I go for an Aqua Ring. And I decide to go for a Waterfall after that. Does not do enough. If I just sack Muck, I would have easily won by now. But now I gotta sack Muck against the Zen Headbutt, and now I have to face off against the Metagross using my Seaking. Luckily enough, it misses his first Giga Impact. I get another chip damage off against him, and I'm hoping it doesn't go for a Bullet Punch. It goes for a Giga Impact once again. I have a Lax Instance on, and it missed Giga Impact twice. And I'm able to Waterfall once again, knock out Steven Stone's Metagross, and the biggest choke possible. Imagine this was a real play. He would be fuming if that happened. A 90% accuracy move missed twice in a row. Granted, I did have the Lax Incense, but that is so embarrassing for him. We end up beating the challenge, just barely though, with 6 deaths, which is incredible. I thought it was going pretty well into the final few battles at the end over there with the Kyogre and the Elite Four itself. Maybe I should have took the battle a bit more serious, but that was a pretty fun challenge to do. I want to say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It means a lot to me you guys make it this far. If you guys can, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. And anyways, my name's been Alpha. Hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.